Hello, here we are again in our demo project Love at Sunset Part 2, and today we want to do some casting. And a lot of customers of Yamdu tell us that the casting feature is really great and it makes a lot of fun to do so. So let's get started right away. There are several ways to actually create characters. One is if you click on breakdowns. So I have already prepared one scene number 1. And we click on the breakdown to get to the detail area. There's not a lot of information in there so far, but here we can already create characters. So actually for this project, obviously, we create our first character, so it's all empty so far. So let's say the leading character is James. So we add James to our library of this project. Of course, we can add several characters. Let's say there's also somebody called Farah. It's the female part, and so on. So you can see, and it's already added, of course, to the breakdown. It's pretty much the same as importing a script, like from Final Draft or a PDF file. There the scenes are created, the breakdowns will already contain the character names, and it's an automated process. And it's pretty much the same as going to the casting feature. So we click on here in the navigation bar, and here you can already see James and Farah with ID number 1 and ID number 2 have been created in the breakdowns, and of course they appear in the character section of the casting area. So here again, we just click on plus, and of course we can also create a character. Let's say we also need Farid. So we have 3 characters just created, and we are now ready to do some casting. So let's start with Farid. As you know it from maybe other tools of Yamdu, it's pretty much the same all the time. So we have detailed information. We can choose not to collect any suggestions, but in this case, of course, we want to do some casting. We can add moods and images just in general for the character, for the role, and tasks and comments. And most importantly, we want to add actor suggestions. So there are no actors so far within the project. If we do have other projects of our company, we can import actors and actresses from other projects of our company. But here we have to create them on our own. So let's say for Farid, we have one actor called Mo El Ain. I just click on add. All the rest we do later on. So we also have Ben Ishak, and just click on create, and let's say there's a third actor, Alan the Gloria, great name, and again the actors are created, and of course there are already suggestions for our character of Farid. So as you can see, it says this draft can only be seen by your department. That means in this case, I am part of the production department, so only my colleagues of the production team can actually see these suggestions. If I want to have all those users who are at least able to read within the casting area to actually see my suggestions, I have to click on Publish Draft for everyone. So let's do this right away. Of course, you can do it anytime afterwards. So let's do the same for Ben. Add the actor Mo El Ain right in the beginning. So there's no secret here. Everybody can see what we are actually doing. So of course, all those actor objects are empty so far. So let's click on one to have the detail area, now not of the character, but of the actor. So here we can add a lot of detail information. So of course we can, for example, add an agency. So we haven't any agencies here so far. So let's create test agency. And just click on it and it's created. And again, also the agency is then part of your Yamdu database. There are some information which only a few people can see, as you can see here and here, so you can tell some members of the crew, maybe this actor is vegan or vegetarian, maybe he is allergic to peanuts, and of course maybe he does have a real name, so let's say it's Max Skinner, and there's how old he is, his date of birth, the street, and his home address, and of course you can add a lot of more things. And just be aware, only a few people can see this, not everyone who has actually access to the casting area. Of course, you can also add some information about appearance and skills. So let's click on it and let's say, okay, so maybe the gender is probably male for him. So we can say, okay, maybe he has some African descent. And, a lot of more information can be added. Again, it does make sense to integrate all that data within Yamdu as you're creating your own company's casting database, and you can reuse and update all this data, of course, over time. For your costume design department, you also can enter some information about his sizes and measurements, but of course also the costume design department does have the right to edit this area and add information. Maybe the most important thing is to actually add one or more photos or files. So let's choose this photo for him, for our actor. Of course, you can also add video files, for example, from your casting. You can add notes. You can add all the contract information. So maybe we have already created a deal memo, and we do know this actor will cost us, for example, $10,000 a day, and maybe we know he needs a large spacious trailer or caravan and only uses white towels. So, when you're negotiating with an agent, you can put all this information in here. Again, only a few people can see it, but you can actually keep on track of your negotiations or all the information that might be related to this actor. You can also have the contract documents uploaded, also drafts. So let's say we have a draft of a contract. So let's take this one and just uploaded it. And of course, everybody can access it who actually has the right to see this area. So again, you add all the information for an actor to what we call the actor object. So let's go back to the character of Farid. We only have one actor added with some information. Let's just really quickly add just pictures, images for the other ones. So in this case, we take this picture for Alan. Then we go back to the character and we need a picture for Ben. Just click on here again, the plus sign. Of course, you can also use drag and drop from your Finder or your Explorer to add some images. So here, it was just a few minutes and we already do have 3 suggestions for the role of Farid. So now, of course, you can communicate with your crew to single groups or crew members. So let's say we want to tell the entire casting group. So there's the director, maybe the casting director, and the producer is part of that group. And we say here we go, finally have some actors for Farid. Have a look, please. And we send it, and now the casting group and everybody who's part of it, so I'm also part of this, will immediately get a message that there's something new in that area in which you have suggestions and can actually talk about it. So if there are some users who do not have access rights so far, but they are part of that group, Yamdu will immediately tell you. And of course, if you are a project admin, or you can ask your project admin to edit those access rights immediately just by clicking on it, and you can grant access rights to those users who are part of your communication and are not able to see this area so far. But in this case, let's say that's fine, that's perfect as it is, and we want to start with the casting process. So let's say for Farid, we are in negotiations already with Mo Al-Ain, and we will actually choose him. So we click on the star, fix as a cast, and as you can see, the actor Mo Al-Ain is now linked to the character or role of Farid with the ID number 3. This means also in the background there are some messages going around to all the departments like costume design department, director's department, makeup and hair, who actually need to know that now we have finally found our Farid and have access to the areas that are relevant to them for the actor Mo Al-Ain. So let's say for some reason this guy got too expensive, or we were not able to close the contract. So you are always able to undo the casting. So we say yes. And immediately we go back to all the actor suggestions from our casting and pre-production times, and we can say, okay, maybe Alan DeGloria is actually, maybe the better guy. So we click on cast, and immediately we see the linking has changed, and now the role of Farid is linked to the actor Alan DeGloria. And again, all other departments like costume design, like makeup and hair, got immediate messages that the casting has changed for the character of Farid, and now they have access to all the data of this new actor, Alan DeGloria. Of course, when you have a look at the casting tool, you do not only have an overview of your characters, there's also an overview of background characters, and of course you can also create actors directly in here. So let's say for other characters we want to have other actors. So let's say we need Jamie, we need Jason Harper, and we need Jimmy Woodley, and probably we also need a female actress. So let's say Sarah McLean should also be part for our casting. And again, here you can see only my department can see this draft. So in this case, I leave it like this because I think it's still kind of secret that we are negotiating with the amazing Sarah McLean, and we can use her later on. Of course, you can also create or manage your agencies. You remember we have just created test agency. So if you click on the test agency, you have all the information. You can add a lot more information like the address and contact information, also if there are special contact persons. And of course, you have an overview of all the actors who are part of that agency, and you can link or create as many actors as you like for this agency. So it's Mr. Test. It's just by typing and clicking, and you have even created an actor from within the agency tool. So again, we will see test also in the actors. Of course, in this case, we want to delete him because we don't need him for our demo purposes. So here we are back at the breakdowns overview, and if we click on our scene number 1 again, you see in the meantime I have done some casting with James and Farah, but of course you can pick your characters also later on. Let's say Farid now is also part of this scene, and again, everything is linked together. So if I want to go to Farid, it's the same as going to the casting area and then clicking on the character Farid, I come all along to this information. So to see how Yamdu enhances collaboration with the other departments, let's again say that Alan de Gloria, maybe he's also not the best Farid that we can get, so we undo this casting. So we fix him as a cast. Okay, now Ben Ishak is all of a sudden playing the role of Farid just with one click. But let's have a look at one of the other departments it might be relevant to, like costume design or makeup and hair. So let's go for costume. And as you can see, I have already added some information before, obviously. So it says the cast has changed. So I click on Farid, and indeed, I have added some information before. It's an orange hat that I have linked to the character of Farid, and of course to the actor Alan de Gloria. So now we have to check if this still fits. And yeah, maybe the costume designer or assistant just wants to have a look. And again, here we have all the information linked to the actor, to Ben Ishak, and hat size, it's 58 centimeters or 22 inches. So that's fine, that's perfect. It's pretty much the same size that we had for Alan de Gloria. So that's fine. Yes, no problem at all. So that means all the other departments always have that current and most up-to-date information what's going on in the casting area. So now I've switched to a real existing project, and of course we've already seen how many information you can actually add to an actor. And just to let you know, if you do have an active schedule in your project, you can easily see in real time, the day out of days, all the necessary information according to a current schedule. So you see the number of scenes, number of shooting days, the first day of shooting, last day of shooting, all the shooting days, scenes, sets for this character and for this actor. Of course, in the episodic add-on, you can also see it per episode. And of course, you can also add off periods. So the other way around, that's very important for your scheduling. So within the Yamdu shooting scheduling feature, you will actually see immediate conflicts if your shooting days are in conflict with the off periods of that actor. So you have all the information right at hand, and most of the information can be reused in your other Yamdu projects for a certain actor. So maybe just try it and have fun doing your casting with Yamdu.